Alright, what I'm going to go through in this video is how to set a end of term loan date, and the scenario that we're describing here is that we want to have items due for their normal loan period for most of the semester. So for example, most of the time we want books that have a 28-day loan policy to go out for 28 days, but the exception is that if you get toward the end of the semester and that 28-day loan period extends past the end of the term, you don't want that to happen. So at a specified date, you want all the items to be due at the end of the semester so that the return date is not going to extend past that time. So in Alma, you've got three methods of accomplishing this, and the first one is to change the expiration date of your patrons to be the end of the semester. And you can do that either manually, you can do it via the user integration profile, or you can do it via a job, which is called update notify users. The second way is to create a terms of use policy that makes use of a due date calendar event, and that's going to be set to be the end of the semester. And then you apply that terms of use for all the relevant fulfillment units that apply. And the third method is to run a bulk change due date job. And the library would have to run this job every day. And the other caveat is that it needs to be run separately for Hightower and Guillebeau. Okay, so here we're logged into Alma, and we're going to go to Manage Patron Services, and I'm going to enter the patron Wile E. Coyote as an example. And so this patron has he's a student. The user group is student, and we're going to check out a book to Wile E. Coyote. And we're going to check out the title Miss Jeffries Plays the Cook, and this has a fulfillment unit of stacks, and the loan period policy is 28 days. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you how the loan normally goes out. And we scan this in, and we see that the item has a due date of June 5th, 2017. And I checked this out on May 8th. So that in fact is 28 days from now, and it's extending past the end of the term, which is on May the 10th. So what we want to happen is for this item to go be loaned out until the 10th of May. If you go under Actions and View Policies, you'll be able to tell what the fulfillment unit name is, and you'll see that it is stacks, and the fulfillment unit rule is 28-day student stacks, and the terms of use name is 28-day student stacks. And you'll notice the fulfillment unit rule and the terms of use name are the same, because that was something that Alma recommended that we do. So basically, if you're looking at our policies, you'll notice that the entire collection can be broken down into just a few different fulfillment unit types, and those are limited media, non-circulating reserves, and stacks. And so under stacks, you've got these location codes, which you see in column C. And so the locations in the libraries, in our library that falls under the fulfillment unit stacks are backfile, browsing, childlit, the general collection, new books, oversized, Revis we're getting rid of, the repository collection, the oversized books in Guillebeau, and the periodical bound items in Guillebeau. So these would be all the locations in our library that fall under this particular fulfillment unit. And And what you can do is you can click on this link here for stacks and take a look at all of those locations that I just showed you on the spreadsheet, and they'll be listed here on the Edit Fulfillment Unit page. The rules that apply to these fulfillment unit locations can be found under the Fulfillment Unit Rule tab. And the way the rules work in Alma is that the rule that's on top is always the one that's going to be applied first. And then if this rule is not applicable, it goes down to the next rule in line, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then if none of these rules apply to the particular book that you're trying to loan out, then the default loan rule is applied. And the default rule for us is non-circulating. So we can go through this and figure out why it is that this particular book would be loaned for 28 days. And we can do that by looking at the first rule here, which is periodicals. And if you go under Actions, Edit, you'll see that the item that's being checked out has to have an item policy of periodical. And the particular book that we were trying to check out is this one right here, Miss Jeffries Plays the Cook. And you'll see in column D that the location for that is browsing. And if we scroll over a little bit, you'll see that the item policy in Alma is books. So this first rule wouldn't apply because it's not a periodical. It has the item policy is books. So what we do is we go down to the next rule, and we can see if that one would apply, and that is reference, and the item policy is reference. And so again, that's not books, so this rule would not apply. And we come down to the next one, which is end of term faculty and staff. And taking a look at that, you'll see that if you look under the terms of use for this, that this policy would have a due date of end of term. But the reason why this doesn't apply is that the user group would have to be interlibrary loan, staff, or faculty. And we're checking something out to a student. So we move down to the next rule, which is 28-day student stacks. And when you go under Actions, Edit, this rule is going to apply because the patron has the user group of student. So the next thing you would do is look at the terms of use, which is 28-day, it's this one right here, the 28-day, well, here it is right here, 28-day students. And looking at the terms of use details for that, you'll see that the due date is 28-day loan. So that is why this particular book is going to be circulated for 28 days. And so what I'm going to do is show you how to change that. And just going back to the Fulfillment Configuration Utility page. So this is the book checked out to Wile E. Coyote. On this page you can also see the terms of use details, and you can see that that has a 28-day loan. So the only way to change that so that the book would be loaned out till the end of term is one of three methods. Either do changing the expiration date, creating a different terms of use, or running the bulk change due date job.